Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Moazzam Ali Sandhu. As usual, this is our weekly show, Your Voice with Moazzam Ali Sandhu. And you are listening and watching Revive FM 94.0. You can join this show through Facebook, through YouTube, or you can tune in to the frequency 94.0. Ladies and gentlemen, today we have a very distinguished and important guest with us, who is the leading criminal defense lawyer, duty solicitor, who has extensive experience in the field of law, as well as he is a critical analyst as well for the Pakistan current law and order situations, political the situation, as well as he has vast knowledge, and we also see this face on different medias nowadays. His landmark achievement, which to my understanding was that he organized a few conferences here, which was one of the very important conferences, wherein the Chief Justice of Pakistan, Saqib Nisar, was the chief guest, along with other distinguished guests and the senior judges of the higher courts. He is the principal solicitor, Allied Law Chamber. I would like to welcome Muhammad Shafeeque. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam. Thank you very much for taking me on your show. So it's a great pleasure to be part of the show, and hopefully we'll move forward to the topic very soon.
Yeah, thank you very much, Judge Shafeeque. Basically, ladies and gentlemen, Muhammad Shafeeque is my very good friend as a brother. We often discussed many issues, especially in Pakistan. There's so many destabilization, the political issues, political crises, and especially the law and order situations. And we often had debate on that. And also we do have debate on the UK's political system and law and order situation as well. So this is why the program of today will cover up the both sides, the UK and the Pakistan as well. First of all, we will start from the current situation in UK, which is my intake in since last month, when the French president made a statement and took some action at a state level against the separatism of Islam, and he allowed the publications and mocking of our holy prophets, and that sparked a very big wave of Islamophobic in the Western world and worldwide. The Muslims, 1.8 billion Muslims, feeling aggrieved. So I want, Shafeeque Saab, your intake on this wave. Do you think that my research says the Islamophobic issue was not and never been handled and tackled properly? This issue was never addressed properly. This issue always been there, neglected and abandoned, because personal political interest of different influential people, the Muslims people in the West, the European Parliament, British Parliament, and European different the legislative assemblies. So do you agree with that the Islamophobic issue was never handled properly?
I agree that there is an issue that's across the globe. It's not only in one country. But in the meantime, what we're going to discuss about this very, concerning matter for all Muslims. And I personally think still, if you comparing Islamophobic issues across the globe, I think comparatively UK is still a much better place in terms of because you may have seen from the reporting, you may have seen from the authorities taking the actions, This is what I'm just talking about, when if there is any crime being committed. But in terms of your I think question was in relation to handling the situation across the
Yeah,
globe
that's
and
correct.
in the country. But I agree with you, because there have always been some political issues around, and then mainly concerning to the Muslim leaders, and I mean, at the moment we're talking about the Western powers, and I can understand it. It's when we're going to talk about a religion, then the politics. I think there is some people, they say it's the same thing. I mean, that you cannot. I mean, separate the religion from the politics. But what my understanding is, from the outset, the politics are completely a different game as compared to a religion. So, for example, if we're going to take on that, like a country may be known as a Muslim country, there might be a different segment of different religions that living within that jurisdiction.
Yeah,
As we're talking about in UK, it's not a Muslim country; it's a Christian country, but there are different religions that lives in one country, and the governments, the politics, the government, that they have the responsibility to provide the security for all the individuals that live, all the residents that are national of their country or they live in their country. So that's where you're talking about Islamic phobia, how the governments and the politics, they handle this issue within their own jurisdiction and across the globe.
yeah. So Shafiq, let me tell you one thing. When I say the Islamophobic was never handled properly, I mean they handled anti-Semitism very properly. You have recently seen in the Labour Party the very high-profile cases, including the Jeremy Corbyn. His the fundamental basic membership was revoked due to anti-Semitic allegations on him, and later on it was restored. And also in the Germany's Supreme Court, as well as in the European Human Rights Court, has decided. There was a very leading cases in 2019 and 18 in both courts, wherein they defined the freedom of expression fundamental human rights definition, that they says the anti-Semitism, the anti-Semitic approach and denial of the Holocaust is not protected under the freedom of speech, and therefore denial of Holocaust and anti-Semitism approach is not protected under any human rights. So the reason the judge, the European Human Rights Court, given the reason with that, because 14 million Jews, their feeling get hurts. So similarly, when the French president and within the France government, they allow the mocking to our blood prophet, which is indecent and highly disrespectful to the religion and the feelings of the Muslims. These actions and these decisions, they hurt the feelings of the 1.8 billion Muslims. So why the publications of the cartoons and mocking of our holy prophet is still protected under the freedom of speech? So there are very clear double standards of the Western laws, so which we are saying that Islamophobic must be handled equally as they handle the anti-Semitic approach.
No, I agree with you concerning the Muslims. We believe uh, our prophets, peace be upon him. So, and uh, it's a very very critical I mean question what you just pointing out. It's not only the individuals that we can make a difference, but it's the whole society has to come together. So then you can make a difference, and especially it falls on the shoulders of our leaders, the political leaders, what we were talking about initially. It's if our government going to make a decision, then I can understand we can all participate, demonstrate everything we can do. our parts, but it's still the main burden falls on the shoulders of the ruling class, that's the rules the country, and then they should put their account, this thing strongly. They should be very, very firm on their arguments, put it across, and then you can expect something turning around. But you said that given the example of French, and then given the example of German, but that's, they have, president of French, they made the whatever the decision that you was talking about. But I think it's still, I agree to the point that this is the concerning for 128 billion Muslims, and we all love our prophet, and we want to hear from our rulers, and they should be making our voice, the voice we're going to raise, they should be making our voice to be heard across the world. But now coming to the point, this is one point that where the rulers have to, address the issues. And
Exactly.
the second issue that we're concerning is the law of the land. And if there are laws in of the land, there are laws of the land, and that's protect all the individual and their religious, commitments, and I think that will make a huge difference towards if somebody is, going to be victimized for their religion, race, color, culture. If there are no laws in the country on the land, I don't think so you can do anything, or you can't move anything. So that's Islamophobia is not only one thing that many of us that we think is just that we're talking about the freedom of speech, and that's been what the Western world has said is protected under the West. The freedom of speech. It doesn't finishes there. It carries on along even at the workplace. You see, if somebody is being discriminated just because of their religion, it's a workplace, and the educational institutions, and in political stuff, if somebody is going to establish their political careers. So it's all around. It's in the neighborhoods, it's all around. It's not only that we're going to talk about just only at one aspect of it. It's the broader vision of it. So I think the governments, I think the rulers are in the world, the Muslim rulers, but what you talking about, the two countries you given
I think, Mr. Shafeeque, your voice is going a little bit breaking. So, ladies and gentlemen, just have a very short break, and after the break, we'll be right back, starting the same topic from here. Please keep listening to ReviveFM.
If you want to advertise your business on ReviveFM, then visit www.revivefm.co.uk or contact our sales team now on 07944 565616. That's 07944 565616. With Revive FM.
Or contact our sales team now on 07944 565616. That's
sales and lettings. We manage over 200 properties in and around Northwest London, keeping our landlords and tenants updated with all the latest laws and legislations. Based in Edgware, our experienced specialist negotiators always ensure we maximize the full potential of your property. Call us now on 0208 952 0808 for a free no-obligation quotation, or visit our website www.maxwellestates.co.uk for further information. Maxwell Estates, the name you can trust.
London is now in Tier 2. and on high alert. To help stop the spread of coronavirus, households must not mix indoors. Only meet people outdoors in groups of up to 6. You must work from home if possible, and reduce the number of journeys you make. For further details, go to gov.uk/coronavirus. Stay alert. Control the virus. Save lives.
COVID-19 remains highly contagious, and even people without symptoms can spread it. So we need to keep washing our hands when we get home. Keep wearing our face coverings on the train. Keep making space at the shops. And now we're indoors more, we should let fresh air in to help blow COVID-19 particles away. Let's keep doing all we can to protect each other and help stop the spread. Remember, hands, face, space, and let fresh air in.
ReviveFM
94.0 on the radio,
on your mobile,
and online.
Ladies and gentlemen, we were discussing about the Islamophobic, and you was listening our guest Muhammad Shafeeque, his intake. So Shafeeque Saab, I think there was a little disruption between the line, and now it is sorted. Let's talk about जैसा कि everyone know, I think most of people, the legal fraternity, they know that you're working here as a criminal solicitor since last 14 and 15 years. You have experience in Pakistan as well, so you are the personality who can understand the UK law as well as the Pakistan law. UK को पाकिस्तानी जो लोग हैं, जो दुनिया भर में जो लोग हैं, they considered UK as a developed country. They have a very strong system, rule of law, the democracy is strong, the legislative assemblies are strong, police and the prosecution, they are playing their role, everything is working perfectly fine. लेकिन जो एक fact है, that is very alarming fact, कि लंदन जो दुनिया का के बड़े टॉप 10 जो बड़े सिटीज हैं उनमें जिनका शुमार होता है, वहाँ पे जो 2018 और 2019 के दरमियान मोर देन 16,000 नाइफ क्राइम्स हुए हैं, जिनमें जो एज रेशो है वो 10 ईयर्स से 19 ईयर्स के दरमियान जो लोगों ने केस किए हैं वो 14,000 के करीब हैं. और इसी के अलावा जो हेट क्राइम्स हैं उनकी तादाद भी 19,000 के करीब पहुंच चुकी है, जिसमें इस्लामोफोबिक है, क्राइम अगेंस्ट पर्सन है, और इसके अलावा जो लोगों को रिलीजन की बेस पे, उनके कलर और कल्चर की बेस पे, उनको डिसेबिलिटी की बेस पे, जेंडर की बेस पे उनको अब्यूज़ किया जाता है. ये लंदन में और यूके में एक डेवलप कंट्री में ये क्राइम्स की रेशो है, डेवलप सिटी में ये क्राइम की रेशो है. आप किस तरह देखते हैं कि who are responsible here in UK, who to blame this great figure which is very alarming? स्कूलों में जो बच्चे जाते हैं, teenagers, parents are worried कि they don't want their children to become the part of any gang, any street crimes, or who is responsible? How we can tackle this? Whether the police is not doing their job perfectly fine?
No, police. After all, it's going to be the police. The street. I mean, the police on the streets. They are responsible. I mean, they authorities. They are responsible for that. But let's go back to what you said. It's 16,000. I mean, cases were reported, but it is alarming that the 16,000 case been reported. But there's many cases that's. Many cases happened in London, but that is alarming bit. But if you're looking on the other side of it, but I will say, and you see, this shows the trust of the people on their forces. What's the trust? Because the 16,000 cases been reported, and they believe and they have the trust and the confidence in their police, they will investigate these matters and they will take the matter further. Okay, when you're going to compare this developed countries reporting cases to the developing countries, like compare with Pakistan, for example, Pakistan may not have that many cases reported. I can tell you for sure. Why? Because in Pakistan, and that's the big difference, because the people, they don't have the trust on the police to report the case. And many of the cases, I will say, maybe 90% of the cases, they try to resolve those matters within themselves or dealing by themselves, because they don't have the trust on the law, they don't have the trust on the police. And then they say, okay, when it's going to end up in the court, and the police not going to delay, they have to do so many things, the bribery issues, the delaying in the judicial system and the proceedings, and then the investment on the proceedings. It's the family have to pay the money in terms of to prosecute somebody, but they
So
try.
when you say the people doesn't have the trust on the police, you mean the matters or the issue or the crime resolved out of the police station?
But that's what I'm just going to talk about further, because that's what the deficit is in the developing countries. And where the developed countries, where we're talking about UK, where you said the 16,000 cases been reported. So the people have the trust on the police that they reported the case. I can understand the concerning is the figures. There shouldn't be that many figures in the developed countries. They should be taken care. That crime should be reduced. There is no other justification to it. That you can see hear me now?
We missed some of your words. I think due to the bad line.
I'll try to repeat a few bits. I'm just talking. It's concerning because the 16,000 cases were reported. It's very concerning for the family members. It's very concerning for the parents. It's concerning for the safety of the children. But on the same side, if you look, that's because from the previous governments, and then there was the cut on the police as well, and they reduced the police, forces and the patrolling on the streets. That makes the difference. But if there are more patrolling on the streets, and there are more security like CCTV cameras, and you may have seen many police stations has been closed down, and then because they moved to the bigger custody units now. So that's also concerning, because when there was a small units on the streets, the people know the police is there, and there is a less crime then. They have that little bit, confidence. Even the suspects, they believe, oh, the police is going to come straight away. So,
and also the number of police also that decreased a lot.
The police force has been decreased because of the police force has been decreased, and that's the little bit, giveaway for the criminals, because they think, okay, there's not going to be the police, there is no CCTV cameras, and there is no security on the streets. Okay, we can get away with it. But the same side, if you look on the same side, because if the 16,000 case been reported, so it means that those victims that have reported the case, they trusted the police. The police will investigate it. But that's the comparison I was going to give it to you as comparing to the developing countries. If you look at the Pakistan, you just consider only the London 16,000 cases. But if you compare Pakistan, the entire Pakistan, you may not have that 16,000 cases reported in the whole of Pakistan. But it doesn't mean that there was a less crime in Pakistan. No way. What happened? Because the many people, the maybe 90% people, they have not reported the cases due to the issues they want to resolve it themselves. So because when the people, they don't have the trust on the police, and they don't have the trust on the law and order, and they don't have the trust on the court system, the judicial system, what they do, they try to resolve the matter within themselves. But then if somebody is going to take the law in their own hand, you know what happened next.
Yeah, exactly. So Choisab, can you please also tell me that when because you are the part of the criminal prosecution system in UK, and the prosecution system in Pakistan as well. So in UK, all the prosecution, they become the full responsibility to prosecute the people. They take all the matters in their own hands. They take care of all the evidences, documentary evidences, investigation, everything. Whereas in Pakistan, everyone get involved in investigation. Everyone have contact with the witnesses. They're trying to influence on the witnesses. So why this system is so poor in Pakistan? Because the criminals have a lot of loopholes and get escaped easily from the prosecution's grip.
Okay, so that's the major concern for Pakistan. Why the people don't report it? Because there is no protection from the state for the victims or the witnesses. There is no witness protection. There is no victim protection. In the UK, I'm going to correct it because I've been a part of the prosecution in the UK. I'm not a part of the prosecution of the UK. I'm the part of the defense in the UK, and we know how the prosecution work here.
Yeah,
being the part of the defense.
The prosecutions.
Yeah. So because all the time we deal with the prosecution, but in Pakistan, what happens? Because in the UK, when you report a case, and then the police has to take the case on, and there is a CPS, Crown Prosecution Service, they take the matter further, and they provide the victim with the victim support. They provide the witnesses with the witness protections, and they organize the lawyer for them. You know, it's a Crown Prosecution lawyer. They're going to prosecute it. But in Pakistan, you may have seen it. There is, or they say, oh, sarkari vakil hai to naal apna vakil bhi karna. So that's concerning when you have a state lawyer acting for you, and then you don't have the trust in that state lawyer, and you say you want to do your own lawyer beside, the state lawyer that's been provided by the state. So then the state has to look into this matter. Why a victim going to hire his own prosecution? So that's number one. Number two, that here when in the UK, any suspect is going to be released on bail, for example, there are some conditions on that bail. The one of those conditions is that's the must. The suspect should not or must not contact directly or indirectly with the victim or any of the witnesses. But whereas in Pakistan, you will see if somebody is, if there is a serious offense being committed and somebody been released on bail, what they're going to do is they're going to go and put the people in the middle and try to communicate with the prosecution side, and then to resolve the matter or put a pressure by hook, by crook, whatever it is. These are the flaws. But unless there is a complete protection being provided by the state, and that should reflect from the bail applications, bail conditions by the courts, that bail conditions must be imposed, this type of bail conditions, not to go to the area where the victim live, not to go onto the street, not to contact directly or indirectly, whether it's through the social media or this kind of. There should be some kind of protection for the witnesses and the victims. I think then you can talk about further about the judicial system. For the justice. That's you looking for.
Exactly. Can you please also, because you very deeply share your concerns and flaws, but what is the solution? Do you recommend any reforms, legal reforms, or do you think that the system is there, the reforms don't need, but the state protection we need? Or do you believe that the state lawyers are incapable, or if the people are not trusting on them because of their incapability, or they are easy to trap, or they dishonest with their job?
Yeah, more concerning for the people is they are dishonest with the job and they can be easily approached and bribed. That's the main concern. They're not going to be, and they think it's incompetent. It's not a competent lawyer. He's not going to deal with the matter. And then he's going to be easily approached, and then he might mess up with my entire case. But now coming back to the point when you said, what can be done? What can be done? There are few reforms that the Pakistan must do. It's not should do, it's must do. Number one, there's a police at the police stations. What they should do, they should create PNC, Police National Computers, like UK, that anybody been arrested across the country, and one fingertip will tell the entire history of the suspect. For example, in Pakistan, what happens now? If somebody has murdered he killed 20 people in Karachi, and then they have the 20 FIR against him in Karachi, been convicted 5 times. But if he turns to Lahore and then do some petty crime there, and the police are going to stop it, and then police going to let him go, okay, it's a petty crime, let it go. What? He's not a petty, he's a serious criminal, He got 20 FIR registered, in another province. But the police not going to know until they've been provided with the facility. The sooner he put the finger on, and everything should come up, whether previous convictions, previous arrest, previous cases. And then they can say, oh, this is a serious case, and this is a criminal. So that's number one. Number two, the procedure at court. What they should do is, from the day one, on the first appearance, straightforward. If it's the magistrate court matter, just deal with everything on the day one. Witnesses' requirements and the issue for the case. What is the issue? They should prepare it's called PET form, pre-trial, the forms that they should be case management forms. They should be completing it on the day one. If it's to do with the session courts, the matter goes to the session court, and the end of now I understand in Pakistan what happens is the session court matters go directly to the session courts, committed directly to the session courts. But they should define everything on the day one, okay? And then they set the trial date straight away on the day one. And then there should not be any excuse on the trial date. Okay, listen, my witness is not turning up, this thing up and that thing up. That should not be any excuse. And there should not be no excuse from the lawyer. Lawyers should be responsible for attending the hearing. If there is no excuse on the trial date, okay, the lawyer is in another court, no, the court should wait, no. The lawyer should be aware my case is listed for trial on this date, I should be free for that date. And that's how you guide the trials. And then the final bit is that's what Pakistan should do. They should split the courts into 2 parts. One is the daily, like a bail matters, case management matters, sentencing, this kind of stuff. They should allow a special course for the trial. When the trial starts, it should finish same day, following day, or 3 days later. That trial should continue until it's finished from the court. It's not one witness happened today, and then witness maybe a year later, and the third witness 2 years later. No way. It should, when this trial started, all prosecution, defense witnesses should go ahead until the case is finished.
That is one of the very important points you mentioned, and I think all the conditions.
One point left is what Pakistan should do. One more thing. I understand they're not going to accept in Pakistan because there is no culture of accepting the guilt. What they should do, they should give put a precedent. You should be given a credit for early guilty plea. If somebody pleads guilty on the first day, 1/3 of their sentence should be wiped out, and there should be a sentencing guideline for the judges. I think there should be a sentencing guideline council established. Their work is just to work on the offenses and then create a sentencing guideline on a daily basis. Every month there should be an update on it, and that should be supplied to the judges. The judges should go on that route. There should not be any other way to deal with the matters.
Excellent, Mr. Shafeeque. You really nailed it, and you literally highlighted very important issues and concerns and the flaws in the system and how to develop the strong prosecution system in Pakistan. The one thing I think that is also part of the agenda in today, that why in Pakistan, the complainant, always we have seen that, first of all, there is a very big number of the complaints which are based on the false and fabricated story. Actually, the incident never happened, and they just wanted to register their cross version or to make a balance cases against the other party or their opponents. But on one point, what is the biggest issue which I have seen when I was practicing in Pakistan in my dad's law chamber, that was the people were always exaggerated and always try to manipulate many things which never happened. Actually, the crime did happen, but the offense of that particular crime was not satisfactorily for the complainants, and they wanted to exaggerate something bigger, and they wanted to add up some more clause of the PPC के इसने मेरे कपड़े भी फाड़े, ये घर की चादर और चार दीवारी को भी इसने रौंदा, इसने मेरे नाक की हड्डी तोड़ दी, इसने ये कर दिया, इसने मुझे किडनैप कर लिया.
In simple words, they want to put the petrol on the fire.
और दूसरा एक बहुत बड़ा जो एलिगेशन है कि इसने मेरे पे अटेम्प्ट ऑफ मर्डर किया, हालांकि उसने चाहे थप्पड़ मारा हो या उसने धक्का दिया हो, लेकिन अटेम्प्ट टू मर्डर के चार्जेस 324 रजिस्टर्ड कर दिए जाते हैं, 365 का चार्ज रजिस्टर्ड, जो कि दैट इज वेरी वेरी सीरियस क्रिमिनल ऑफेंसेस. और अब तो जो बड़ी पॉपुलर एक क्लास है सेक्शन 780A जो कि टेररिज्म का क्लास है, वो भी एक पार्ट बन चुका है FIR का, कि थोड़ा सा उधर हल्ला गुल्ला हुआ तो दे जस्ट ट्राई टू ऐड दिस सेक्शन 7, और उसके लिए फिर पूरा प्रेशराइज, पॉलिटिकल प्रेशर, सोशल प्रेशर, मौलवी अगर है तो मौलवी सारे मौलवियों को और सारे मजहबी लोगों को इकट्ठा कर लेते हैं, स्कूल कॉलेज के लोग अपने स्टूडेंट्स यूनियन को. ये क्या मतलब, is it very easy to manipulate the charges, or is it the police, where the police is, कि क्यों ये exaggeration होती है? और सारा जो जुडिशियल सिस्टम है, सारी प्रोसिक्यूशन है, वो इस केस के ऊपर लग जाती है कि क्या ये FIR 100% ट्रूथ है या हाफ ट्रूथ है, हाफ फॉल्स है. और जब वो एक हिस्सा भी FIR का फॉल्स होता है तो कंप्लेनेंट को इतना नहीं एडवाइस किया जाता लॉयर्स की तरफ से कि इफ दिस थिंग विल नॉट प्रूव, द होल FIR, द होल क्लेम विल बी जेपरडाइज, और सबुताज हो जाएगा वो, कि वो अगर एक पार्ट है तो जो डाउट में चला जाएगा. तो व्हाट इज योर इनपुट इन दैट?
Yeah, on the first and last bit you decided, because if one part is not correct and then the other part would be taken away, I mean, it will not be considered. But I disagree in that point, because what it is, because in the I have seen many cases in this country as well.
Not doubtful.
No, yeah, I can understand it, but I have seen many cases where the judges have given the verdict saying, I found the witnesses honest up until to this point, and from there this part is dishonesty, and he's not been honest from here, and therefore I found him or her guilty of this offense. Okay, now coming back to what happening in Pakistan, what you said initially, that they exaggerate the things, but they try to add the more things on it.
Yeah.
So, but this is the whole stuff is to do with the police at the time. If you are going to train your professionals, your authorities, investigative authorities, and you have to set many things in order to achieve that targets. Because if somebody making the false allegation and the police is just saying, oh, what the culture is in police, what they say, all right, you done this one, we'll add this one, and write it down and just gone to the court. No way. But there should be some check and balance, and there should be times the steps that should be taken in order to, the proper what's called the trainings for the investigation, and the special people should be trained for special crimes, not only or you are special in this and you are special, or you can do this. No way. There should be a special, officers. They should be trained according to what they're going to do with in the investigation. For example, if there are theft matter, there should be a proper officer. They're dealing just only the theft matters, and the sexual offenses separate, terrorism offenses separate, and it's part of their trainings. If the authorities are going to take the steps very seriously, they want to do some, and they want to see some changes. They want to see the Pakistan to be considered a country where the justice can be delivered. And everybody, the victims are a little bit lax, and they know that all citizens, they respect the laws, and they consider, oh, no, we are safe in Pakistan. If the authorities are going to take the matters, we are safe. It will be just, it will not be, our voice will not be ignored, or will not be, it will not be the case that we're not heard. But that's to do with the entire training of the entire, investigation authorities, where at the moment is the police, then the NAB, FIA, all these kind of agencies, they are investigating the matter. There should be some kind of trust, and there should be a proper training. They should not add, as you said, it might be the police that's putting the things, okay, you add this, I'll add this. Many people say different stories, but that shouldn't be the case. The case should be, here is the case, and the authorities investigate it. If the matter, what the person is telling the truth, will proceed further. If it's not telling the truth, they should finalize their own, investigation into the matter and submit the report.
Thank you very much, Shafeeque Saab. Actually, I believe that there are so many engineers in every town, every city, every village, in every police station as well. They engineered they guide the people above their legal advice. Even in the legal profession as well, there are some people who guide the complainants how to register the complaint, what things to add, what things to avoid, and they try to capture the accused party from all the angles. And I think these are one of the biggest challenges in the prosecution system in Pakistan they need to handle. Ladies and gentlemen, we're heading towards a very short break, and after the break we will discuss the current PDM and the role of NAB, these few cases in Pakistan. So I would like to take the intake of Mr. Shafeeque on that. So we'll be right back after a short break. Thank you.
This is Aisha. Her father died in an accident at a very young age. She lives with her mother and siblings. There are millions like Aisha who do not have access to the very basics of life, resulting in her and many others not being able to attend school. Through Minhaj Welfare Foundation, your charity is dedicated towards supporting the full needs of orphans and needy children around the world. Donate today. Call us now, 0300 3030 777, or visit us on minhajwelfare.org.
Moazzam Plumbing, the boiler specialists. We do new boiler installations, full house central heating systems, underfloor heating, boiler repairs, boiler servicing, and gas safety certification for landlords. With some of the best prices in town, there's no job too big or too small for our qualified engineers. For a free, no obligation quote, contact us now on 07956 282 948. Moazzam Plumbing, the boiler specialists.
People of Asian and Black ethnic origin are at an increased risk of COVID-19. Queen Mary University London has launched a research study called Covidence UK to find out why this is. If you are Black or Asian, we need your help to complete our studies. All you need to do is complete an online survey. Please help us to understand the coronavirus disease so we can develop tools to prevent it. Sign up at qmul.ac.uk/Covidence. Sign up and save lives.
If you want to advertise your business on ReviveFM, then visit www.revivefm.co.uk. Alternatively, contact our sales team now on 07944 56 5616. That's 07944 56 5616.
Revive FM
94.0. On the radio.
on your mobile.
And online.
Very welcome, ladies and gentlemen. You are listening and watching Revive FM 94.0 with our guest, Chaudhry Muhammad Shafeeque, who is criminal defense lawyer as well as legal and political analyst. Joy Saab, we have a few concerns. People thinks that in the current government, NAB, the role of NAB is always in question. The role of NAB is politicalized. There are so many allegations on the NAB's roles. They think that the political victimization is happening under the government of the PTI, and all of the political figures who joined the PTI from the Noon League or People's Party or any other parties, they are exempted from the NAB's control or any investigation or any cases. But rest of the oppositions, regardless of wherever they belong to, whichever political party they belong to, especially People's Party or Noon League, they are under the severe pressure of the NAB, and they are facing many cases on NAB. And that is very true because it is proven on many different cases. So what is your intake in that?
Yeah, I agree, because the NAB, since the NAB been established in Pakistan, so it's been criticized, but that was established just for the political victimization. I totally agree with that. That's the reports and everything. That's fine. But the main concerning, that's what I'm just going to take out, because in Pakistan, one thing I don't understand is what kind of defense these people are going to raise. Mainly it's the political people, or maybe some bureaucrats. No, I haven't seen much of the bureaucrats in that, but mainly these comments came from the politicians. All right, if a case is registered with person A and the person B, for example, he's going to talk about the person B. He's not going to talk about himself. He's going to say, okay, I'm just being politically victimized, and the person B, he made blah, he done this. Nobody is, why they are asking me, why they're not asking him. This is the defense he's going to put across straight away on the media. And we, the innocent people of Pakistan, we just believe why he's not being questioned, why he's the only one being questioned about it. I think, to be honest, straightforward, if the case is against person A, he should not be giving a defense why the person B is not being accused, but he should be putting his account forward. He should be providing his defense for it, but not accusing the third party. Okay, that's how it should be, because most of the NAB has been victimized. Criticized. Sorry, not victimized. It's criticized just because of this element. You know, it's very easy for the politicians just to stand on the media there. The media provide the coverage to the politicians, and in 1 second they just flare up the thing and just gone. You may have seen many clips. On one time, the politician says, I don't own anything. And the next minute it came up, oh no, it's found out he got 10 properties or 20 properties. And we recently witnessed in the BBC interview as well. So, but that's initially denied, next minute admitted one thing, and the second thing. So that should not be the case, but you should put your case across. And I can understand one thing, which is it might be a little bit towards the breaking news. I can just give you the a little insight of it. This is something happening in Pakistan. Somehow it appears to me the top people, they concerning something going to happen, and we should get rid of our assets.
Exactly.
And should get rid of our assets, take the money, then run away. So that's one of those. It means there is something happening in Pakistan, but a positive for the people. If those big people, they're thinking something going to happen, we should get assets. That's good news for the people of Pakistan.
Yeah, but the PDM, let's talk about the PDM. They are 11 political parties. They think they are aggrieved, and they are the victim of the NAB. They are victim of the political victimization. They believe that their rights of representation has been taken away by hook or by crook by the alliance of the current government with the establishment or with different agencies. So do you think that they have a case against the PTI because they are making up jalsas with the hundreds of thousands of people across the whole map? They cover the whole map of the Pakistan from east to west, south to north, everywhere. And the people are supporting them, and especially the government has failed to address their issues, the issues being raised. Number one. The number two is in Pakistan, the problem of the common man is never been addressed or never been resolved, such as the prices goes very high. It is beyond the affordability of the common man. The job promises never been fulfilled. The house promises never been fulfilled. And there are so many fake promises of the political leadership, Imran Khan. And the PDM has a valid case against them.
I understand your question and the concerns of the people. You in the previous governments, there was a time when the price hike was a lot up, and then it went down. They tackled the issues in the PMLN and in the PPE government. Just recently, I'm talking about since 2008 onward. I'm not talking about that before that. I'm just talking about 2008 onward. There was a time when the price gone up, then it's been controlled, and it's in 16 the prices were very high, and then it was controlled later on. But in terms of the political rallies, and then if they're going to challenge, okay, this police, all elections were not fair, but there are European reports there on it. They say in Pakistan, elections always been a big question mark anyway. So they say, oh, it's all the time. It's not the first elections, it's all the time. But towards the end, they said there are some flaws, but these elections were fair. That's the most authentic report is the European report. Anyway, so that's to, I think, address that issue. Now coming back to their rallies and their demonstrations. At the moment, what I just earlier on said, seems like maybe a good news for the people of Pakistan. If the bigger people thinking to selling their assets to get away, the way they're thinking is to get away. So it means a good news for people of Pakistan. That indicate there is a trouble in the opposition camps. That may be one of those ones. I'm not saying it should be, it would be, but that may be one of those. And the second thing is, if a political government, for example, the current PTI government, I'm not supporting PTI government. Well, I'm saying they've been given a mandate. These all parties, they have their own people in the parliament. They have the parliament. They should decide the matters in the parliament. Okay, the demonstrations they're going to raise at this stage, I don't think it's good for Pakistan or for the people of Pakistan at this stage. What is, you can see the second wave of this COVID-19, and then you may have been witnessing what happens in USA, and then their daily patients is about 200,000. They crossed to over 200,000, and then you look Turkey now, their daily patients is 30,000 plus, and then you see here in the UK, we always, for the last few days, it's been going on 15, 16, or 18 or 20,000 patients a day. But country like Pakistan, if these demonstrations now, it's a responsibility of the entire nation. It's not the responsibility of only the government. It's the opposition and the people of Pakistan. But what about if these demonstrations bring a big disaster for the entire population of Pakistan in terms of the spread of the coronavirus? That is the biggest concern. And then in terms of the rallies, I think there's a matter in the High Court. Maybe Judge may, I think Honorable Judge may look into this matter, and they may consider not to allow this rally to go ahead, considering the COVID-19 situation. I'm not sure what will happen, but that's the matter is in the court anyway. So in terms of what they're doing it. But if they're talking about the elections, these really should have been soon after the elections, not 2.5 years later. If it's about the elections, okay, if the elections were not fair. But if you look in the broader vision, so these all parties, candidates, they actually won the election against the other party members. If they're talking about this election was not fair, then how they justifying their own winnings? I mean, against the same opposition parties. So it doesn't make sense. But and they have the parliament. If there was an issue, if they have the number game, then demonstrating through the parliament, and they should decide the matter within the parliament, not outside the parliament. Well, I think it should. The common sense should prevail. I hope so. Our political parties and the leader of our parties, they will make some sense and they will make a sensible decision for the best interest of the people and the Pakistan. They should go in the parliament, decide the things there, and if they still think there is something, but at the moment they should consider the COVID-19. I'm not supporting the government. I'm not supporting the opposition. I'm just concerned what will happen to my brothers and the sisters. I mean, whoever going to participate in the rallies. Well, how about if we carry the COVID to home, and there's 10 people in home, they're all on risk. There are not much facilities in Pakistan to treat if its spread is quite high, the way it is in the US. If it's the highest as the US in spread in Pakistan, you may see a lot of deaths in Pakistan. Within the last 24 hours, it's been reported 89 deaths. With the patients only 3,000. How about if the patients reach to 50,000 or 100,000 a day? How many deaths you will see in a day? So that's the main concern.
I agree with you, and I think both points you raised very well. The politicians looks better to play their political role within the parliament floor, not on the roads, number one. And second is COVID-19. But Mr. Shafeeque, do you agree that the government is also playing a dual policy on the COVID-19 and they have their own double standards dealing with the COVID-19? Because on the opposition side, they always raise the point of the COVID-19. But whereas within their own political agendas, within their own political programs, their events, the Tiger Force conferences, the press conferences, the rallies and jalsas, everything is happening within the governments. So do you think the governments, whoever belongs to PTI or whoever belongs to the governments, they are immune to the COVID-19 and only the threat of the COVID is just for the opposition?
No, they're not exempted. If they're doing these things, they should be showing more responsibility as compared to the opposition. So they should not hold any rallies. They should not hold any bigger conferences. They should not do these political gathering and everything. They should show to the public and to the opposition, we are responsible and we should act as a responsible citizen and the ruler of the responsible country, not the way the opposition is handling.
The law should be like told everyone. The law should be
rules. The rules are rules. COVID rules for everybody. It's just you going to protect your own nation, nobody else. You're going to protect your own public. So if your public is protected, then you not be. In a way that you spreading this. This COVID is, if it's a COVID in your country, you can spread across the world. This has happened. You see it. It's started from China. It's spread across the world. If there is a war in Pakistan, so you're gonna spread across the globe anyway. The flights going in and out, and you might be cut off then if there is a spread really worse.
I understand these are the very serious concerns of the COVID-19, and we must take care of that. And the government must have the one-point agenda that the COVID principles are applicable and COVID rules are applicable to everyone, regardless whether they are part of the proposition or part of the opposition. Thank you very much, Mr. Shafeeque. This is the end of our show. Would you like to give any short message to our listeners and viewers?
I think what we should show our responsibility towards everything, but in terms of this current COVID circumstances, we should follow that rules, and then in terms of SOP rules, and then in terms of the Pakistan judicial system, or as a responsible citizen, I think we should participate somewhere. Like I participate today to just with you raising the voice, putting the point across, but you should do within on your capacity. So at least someday we'll see there is a change, there is a better future, and there is always, if you are positive and you think put the things across positively with a positive mind, and hopefully the things will turn to be a positive very quick and very soon. And that's the message I can give.
बहुत खूबसूरत मैसेज यू गिवन अस दैट सकूते शिकवाए शब्द से शिकवाए शब्द से तो कहीं बेहतर अपने हिस्से की शम्मा जलाते जाते. दिस इज द ड्यूटी ऑफ एवरीवन that we must contribute into the productive and creative activities and give the message across other people and the communities during this hard time. Thank you very much, Mr. Shafeeque, and hopefully see you again some other time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Nitro Treats, the dessert lab where your